On a thirsty Thursday. Kind of early, I feel like. It's not, but I feel really off in the time zones. What's up, everybody? I am the High Priestess Phoenix, your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer. I'm looking for a book. Hold on. Lightworker, Oracle, Starseed. I shared something about being a lightworker. We're going to talk about being a starseed. Earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist. I am your North American Sybil. We spoke about those yesterday. Your messenger of God, the first child of God, created the divine feminine in the flesh. In order to keep up with me, you would have to catch what I post on my community page, my latest live video, and anything in my shorts. Let's see, so the energy is so fucking... I'm just fried. I told you, full moons. I went to bed early, but then I woke up super early and was frying under the moon from like 4 to 6. Really? In the morning? Yes. And I laid down and I actually fell back asleep and had to restart my morning, and you cannot imagine how difficult that is. And, today the moon is aligned with the Pleiadian, and I told you last night in my post that we were going to do a teaching on them. They're responsible for all this sleeping I've been doing. I know that for sure. So we were going to talk about the chambers. There was a very frustrating energy. I feel justice. Really? Just justice. Yeah. I guess that's the best way to say it. Justice was the energy this morning. I saw some shit. I always see some shit, bro. 3 o'clock in the morning, I get up and I go down, and I have a cigarette, and then I come back up and take a bath, and I go back out. And maybe I took the bath before I went out. I can't remember. I don't know, but as I'm out there, I see this fucking family pushing their fucking kids in their stroller at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. And as daunting as it is, it's the same fucking family that ditched their kid on me on Halloween. So naturally, here comes the snowball. I already seen some shit that made me feel some type of way, and now here comes more and more and more. It's like, I didn't even know you fucking people. And here we go. Just here we go. Just here we fucking go. Realistically, I'm sorry, is there a logical explanation why you have a double stroller out? Both you and your husband are out at 3 o'clock in the morning with your fucking twins? Is there a logical explanation for this? Okay, well, I just saw them at 9 a.m. with the double stroller and the rest of their kids. Did they sleep? Did they wake up at 3? What the fuck? I'm just saying. Perhaps they're on a witch schedule like me. Perhaps. But I don't fucking think so. Then there was that, and then I'm like, then there was the elevator fight, which I always love so much, where these kids stand in the elevator door and just, wait for each other or yell at each other or yell to their parents or something. And I'm like, all right, so the girl gets on and she waits. She's yelling at him. And then finally a kid gets on. And then another kid gets on. And then they're about to go. And then mom yells, do you have your phone? And they're like, no. So now they want to hold the door open. And at that moment I said, can you please get off the elevator and get your stuff and then get on the elevator? Why do we have to wait for you? Right? There's 2 elevators. Just go finish your fucking business. So there's all of these things, right? And then today is the glorious day where we get to sit down and voice our concerns and complaints about our lifestyle here. And that's what I mean about, okay, keep it in, bro. Just write it down. Write it down. Wait till 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, bro. You're going to tell everything. It's going to be a tell-all. All. I'm going to be #1 hated person in that motherfucking room. I'm pulling out room numbers. I'm talking about all of this. I'm talking about all of it. All these women and men that do not watch their children, that are playing in the elevators and playing in the hallways and leaving all this garbage that is creating this fucking, the problem, the pest infestation. I personally haven't seen any in my room. But again, I had him working on it hardcore for like weeks. But all of that shit, all that creepy shit that people are doing in the middle of the night, where are the reporters? You know what I mean? You're a court-ordered reporter to report any kind of child abuse or neglect. You see these people taking these fucking kids out in the middle of the fucking night. You see them leaving their kids here. You see them not watching their kids. You see all of this, but none of you say nothing. So we're going to talk about that. All the placemat staff that do not follow through. We're going to talk about up to the director that didn't follow through. We're going to talk about the fucking, there's no actual order within the building. And nobody follows any of the motherfucking rules. We're going to talk about all this, dude. So justice is upon us. As I said that, I just stretched my chakras. It's an opportunity to be heard, for your feelings to be heard and validated. You have to take justice into your own hands sometimes, and you have to make sure that your fucking feelings and your thoughts are validated in certain situations, like, right? So, you know, there's this turn your head culture, and we're not supposed to start no crap and blah, 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 blah. Oh, bro, I'm gonna burn that whole thing down. I might even give them all my fucking Instagram so they can see how much I've been, or I mean my YouTube, so they can see how much I've been reporting. I am a fucking public reporter of this bullshit. I got staff, I got people, I got everything on there, dude. Everything you need to know about how terribly run this place is in those videos. Including the members that live here that contribute to the terribleness. Really? Oh yeah. I feel it. Justice. 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 It's an opportunity to change things. Now, as I see this, I'm seeing this funny thing too. Gosh, Wolfman is he is obsessed. Again, that's that card, bro. I never seen somebody, okay, I've seen a lot of obsessed motherfuckers. But yeah, I guess. You're that obsessed devil. Obsessed. Anyways, he puts up a Sagittarius video talking about reconciliation. He's not the only one. There's plenty of them out there. I'm not reconciliating with anybody. I'm not going back to anybody. That's for those lower vibrational Sagittariuses that aren't pushing forward. They're pushing backwards. You know what I mean? Trying to make something in the past work. I'm not working with the past. I did not do all this work to work with the past, because the past is the past. As I say this, whoever you think you might be, you're the past. You still have a future, but that's my past. I've left all that type of stuff alone. I don't want to carry your karma and your lessons and explain to you every day why God is working in the way that He is and why you need to learn such hard lessons in your life. I don't need to sit next to it, and I don't need to catch your lessons. I've got my own. Realistically, yeah. There's not a dude from my past that's on my timeline, bro. That's on my mental wave, my emotional abilities, or even spiritual. So again, that reading isn't for me. Now there's probably many douchebags from my past that think they have another chance at this Mercury retrograde. They're going to take their shot. They're going to get seriously shot down, because just because you're in the same mindset that you always are in a Mercury retrograde doesn't mean I am. We used to link because we thought alike and we felt alike and there was something alike. My life was kind of like yours. And we could, you know what I mean? That was enough to build on. We are not alike. I have no commonalities with anyone. Again, nobody can keep up with me mentally or emotionally. So forget the fucking spiritual shit. Because realistically, when I sit with you, I'm not really being too spiritual. I'm being physical, right? It's a physical connection. Spiritual is when we're not connected. Then we're spiritually connected. But when we're there physically, we're physically connecting. I just want to point that out. And all these tarot readers, they strive off that. What they're doing is they're planting seeds of false hope. And that's exactly what I described as these fake light workers. They get you hyped on something. It's like Tony Robinson is what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? All of these inspirational speakers, they get you hyped on something, and now you're addicted to the hype. Not the something, because you never get the something. You're addicted to the hype of it. Right? So, in essence, why am I watching his videos? Just to show how wrong he is, because he's never right. And you can look in the comments. The Sagittariuses are saying, no, we're not. He's been saying for 3 days. He's trying to force reconciliation on Sagittariuses that don't want it. Obsessed. You think he'd get a different pack of cards, or he'd learn that something's going on here? If we're arguing in the comments that that's not us, then how can you say that is? Why are they watching you? Because they like you? It has nothing to do with what you're talking about. You're eye candy for for single women, and you know it. And you use that to what? I don't know. Get a couple coins in the pocket. You're a prostitute. Prosthetic is what I heard. Anyway, so I just no, I'm not going backwards. I mean, yeah, somebody's from the past, they always come back, and you have to face them. You have to face the past. Yeah, you have to let it go. You have to forgive it. You have to be understanding. Again, forgiveness is not a doorway. It's not the opening of a door. It's the closing of a door. When you can give someone forgiveness, you're finally free from that person, and it's done. I have nothing in common with Bobby, or Russ, or Marshall, or Allie, or Lewis, or anyone else I physically know. Your mindset is going in a very different direction than where I'm going in my life. Now, I want to point out your mindset, not your fucking life. To be perfectly honest, your life is going nowhere. But your mindset is programmed to go in a very opposite direction. We do not click. You think this way, I think this way. Therefore, we are always at odds. I can compromise and dumb my thought process down to think like you think, and I can rationalize it and see where you're coming from and why you believe this is such a great idea produced from your mind and stuff. But ultimately, that direction of material, success that you're going towards is not the direction I'm going towards. So there in itself is the division. Mentally, we are going in two different directions. Now, emotionally, we can't even start there. Because I'm a whole psychic and I read all emotions. That's what I do, is I read all energy, which is emotions, feelings. Energy is raw emotion, right? You, and that could be any of the 5 I listed or any of you out there, suppress your feelings. You don't act in them, you don't speak of them, you don't acknowledge them, you don't have them. So then in itself is an entire detachment. We are not alike. You're unfeeling and I feel everything. That's narcissist to the empath. For every fucking every definition of the word. A narcissist is someone that does not think of their own actions or consider how those actions affect someone else. That's these men. They have a one-track mindset of their success and how they're living their lives. They take into no consideration human life and the universe that they're working towards. They see everything as dirt that they're plowing through. Okay? So that's the definition of a narcissist. And then having no emotional capabilities to feel empathy or sympathy for another human being. They don't have the mind or the heart. So again, reconciliation is not something, even Wolfman. He doesn't have a mind. This is a mindless freak. He might have a hard dick, but I was fine with a soft one. What'd she say? You have to just play with it a little bit. I mean, what else? If I get a soft dick and a soft heart, then that's a good cause. You know what I mean? And an open mind, I'll take all 3. If that's what it costs, I'll take it all. Sure, I can make that thing hard. For sure. I cannot open your heart. I cannot open your mind. Dick real hard. But the rest of it, nah. That's all you, dude. And that's what it's me. I am a demisexual. I become sexually attracted to you after an emotional connection. In order to have that, we would have had a deep mental conversation. Ta-da! So, going back to eye candy, I mean, if I wanted to look at something sexy, I have plenty to look at. I don't look for arousal through the eyes. I like arousal through all the senses, not just something that's pleasing to the eyes. Realistically, yeah, because I don't even wear my glasses most of the time. Alright, let's move on. Did you get all that? 15 minutes of fame? Alright, so we're going to go into the Pleiadian book. They are called the Seven Sisters. Okay? I've been teaching you about all the different constellations. Theirs is a very crazy story about a man trying to, I forgot who it is. I can't remember it all. But it's a whole story, and I don't remember if it was Zeus, one of the gods, granted them immunity into the stars. He's still there. It's the obsessed. It's fucking Wolfman as I say this. I can't remember who he is, but it was a particular god or deity that kept wanting the women. And eventually he ended up in the stars right next to him, stalking them. But the seven sisters represent the seven rays of light. That would be your seven chakras. Now, that goes back to Christ. I'm going to read you some stuff just to give you some, I don't know, some knowledge, I guess. Not the dimensions. Where is it? Give me a second. The seventh dimension? Nope. Divine truth. Give me a second. I need to find the seven sisters and all this shit. Grounding higher self, holographic self, infinite sign. Give me a second. Ugh, the Lyran warriors. You don't even know. You don't even know. Order of the Great. Okay, we're getting close. Overlighting Deva, the oneness, paradigm Mega or not. Where are that? Oh, it's in the sisters. That's where it is. P. Alright, sisterhood of the ray of the ascended Christ. Females who were enlightened and became Christ consciousness beings while still on earth in their bodies. That is me. I am a light worker. Now serving as guides and higher dimensional teachers for humans ready to become enlightened and initiated into the Christ consciousness. Alright, where is the sisterhood? Or where is the seven sisters? I felt like there was more in here about them. Well, anyways, okay, so that's who they are. And they're known as just as the rest of our constellations. They're up there, and they cross our path a lot. So today is the alignment. A full moon aligns with the seven sisters. Okay, so the seven sisters know the moon as a mirror, right? The moon is reflecting. It's our rear view. It's our side mirror, right? So it's reflecting. Objects may look closer than they appear. Okay, thanks. It's reflecting all the lights and all the imagery from the universe back to the earth, right? So we're facing this way, right? That means the sun is not there. Our moon is in our way. So our moon is a mirror. So everything that's behind us is shoved here and then back to us, right? So the seven sisters, you know what I mean? They're constantly, the moon is full of all kinds of cosmic energy. As it moves around, it's filled up with energy, and it just reflects it back to us as the planets are moving, stuff like that. So the seven sisters each have their own powers, and they're all aligned. So when that alignment comes, it's sending the seven rays. And that can go into your chakras, which would be, they work with all seven of your chakras. They work with all seven color codes, right? When you align them, what color do you get? White. All right, so I'm just trying to kind of give you guys, new people, some kind of, basic understanding. Meeting the Pleiadian emissaries of light. Okay, you're probably, I don't know if you'll meet them. How did I meet them? It was a vision. It was a scary vision. It was a dream. I can't I'll never not see it. It was before the full moon of 2023, around Christmas. I had this thing happen, but I didn't see the vision until after the full moon. And that's how the Pleiades work, is I can feel them all the time putting information into me, but it's not until the light lights it up. It's kind of like an X-ray thing. So I had this vision, I guess, this dream. I'm laying on a table, and there's all of these beings. They're not and all I can see, the only spirit guide is Kobe. And then I go to sleep. It's not like anything else I ever experienced, bro. And I don't remember this. It happens, I have a dream of it. I don't really remember it until later when I start to feel the chakra. I call it the Pleiadian chakra. It's between my heart and my throat chakra. Because when they started to give me the downloads, it was too much light. Almost like I couldn't see. I was going blinded by the light. So they had a different way to put it in, and that's where I talk about it. When I tried to see it, I was like, where did this come from? Then I got the image. It was like there's something foreign. I can feel it, and it feels like they're putting a fucking needle in my back. I can feel this thing going in. What the fuck is this? And then I got the image of that time where I was on a fucking on a table with the beings. I tell that story, and that's where most of you guys came from, because I shared Kai's in my shorts. I shared Kai's story. And it's like, you guys can choose not to believe it, but this shit really happened. And I don't play lightly with them, with any of the beings, because they're beings, just like us. They're not etherical, like everything else I deal with. These are actual beings outside of us that have authority by God to certain extents with us. Really? Everything has to be given authority by God. They were created by God as well. They have a better understanding. They directly... they're not human. They're not cut off from all that is. Humans are the only ones that are cut off from it. So anyways, it's not my favorite. It's my favorite, bro. This isn't like me in meditation dealing with spirits. This is these whole beings, you know what I mean, got a hold of my got a hold of my astral body and put, you know what I mean, and made me one of their light workers. It was meant to be, whatever. This lady, she's a messenger to them. But that's just one of them. As I went over here and talked about the Lyrans or Orion, there's so many beings out there. And if you get on their level, bro, you're kind of like, that's what sucks. It's like all you did was consciously enter into their realm, and now you're like, you know what I mean? They're fully aware that you're there mentally. And now you're at the mental, you're at the... I don't know, I don't want to say it like that, but you're in a place where you can't, you know what I mean, like, you didn't even mean to be, and now you're corresponding with higher level beings that are actually physical. That's where it gets a little strange. I do all my communications with the spirit beings, you know what I mean, so they're not in a physical form, but so therefore they can take all forms and shit like that, but these are physical forms with physical purpose. Really? Yeah. So anyways, as far as you meeting them, you could literally meet them in physical form. They could show up in physical form. Beings. You call them aliens, bro. They're just beings. And so I only work with the Pleiadians. I have the Pleiadian light book. I got this way before it ever happened. But there's other star systems and beings of those star systems. That's why I tell you I'm Juperian. I'm Venetian. I've been on all of these planets before. I'm just human now. Really? Yeah, I'm a soul that takes many forms. These are beings in that form. Can they take other form? Yeah, because they're already in a shape-shifting form. They're not stuck in one form. And that's where it's like, that's just basically, that's a spirit. A spirit in a being, in a fleshly being. So not only are they sending us information, but there's many of them that are chosen, that are starseeds that they work with. Many beings that are literally working with beings. And they wouldn't tell you no more than a person like me that works with angels or dead people. They're not going to tell you that they're meeting alien beings at night. They're not going to tell you that they're talking to dead people throughout the day. They're not going to tell you that Christ walks with them. Why? Because those that don't have the eyes to see and the ears to hear call that crazy. And now we've put ourselves in danger just with our gift. Exposing that we have a gift makes us, puts us in danger. So, going back to Kai, it's like, you can choose to believe this or not. You can persecute me, you can do whatever you want. But the shit really happened. And that's what it does. Now, why would they meet with you? Let's talk about this. That's what I'm here to talk about, is the chambers. This is what I saw. right? Chambers of light. There's lots of these chambers. I'm just going to go through them, and we're just going to kind of read. I've been in a lot of sleep chambers. That's how they do it. They put you to sleep, bro. Yeah, seriously, yeah. One of the easiest and most exciting aspects of Pleiadian lightwork is the use of the healing chambers. These chambers etherically surround your entire body and aura with varying colors, frequencies, and light. Each chamber with its own flow pattern and purpose in your ongoing quest for healing and spiritual mastery. In ancient Atlantis and Egypt, certain healing temples and pyramids contained small chamber-like rooms in which individuals, and sometimes couples, could receive energy balancing, spiritual alignment, and healing, or integration sessions following initiate experiences. Okay? Now, same thing. They do something similar with Reiki. Right? We'll bring you into a room, we'll lay you on a bed, we'll put the stones out, we will play sound frequencies. Oops. You feel that? You're supposed to feel it. Music is a frequency, so they're sending all of these frequencies plus lights and energies into your body, bro. Occasionally, these chambers were even used for purpose of initiation. Each individual chamber room had its own unique energy grid and specific purpose. This morning when I was driving, I was reminded about going up to, I said for my birthday, I wanted to go up to the hot springs. They're little individual caved rooms in waters from that boil from the center at the core of the earth. They're healing waters, bro. It's like 104 to 116 in those waters. But it's also inside of the mountain. They're purifying waters, bro. So that's what, you know what I mean? A place like this. Just like the Chamber of Light sessions you will experience in this chapter, several of the other types of chamber sessions will be revealed in the coming text, had their own special chamber rooms in Atlantis and in Egypt. All the individual has to do is receive a chamber session, was enter the room, lie down on the table provided, and relax. It goes on and on. I'm not going to really, let's see. If nothing happens for you, it says, today setting up a chamber session is as simple as saying an invocation and lying down for a few minutes to an hour. It is recommended that you follow the guidelines for each chamber with respect to time allowance, regularity of use, and establishing clear intent. I don't. I literally just got walked into a coffin, bro. I literally, just lay there and I'm dead. I just fall the fuck asleep, bro. I'm holding my phone and I just pass out. Kind of like Mr. Plum. It's super funny. I used to watch him do it all the time. He would just be sitting straight up and go to sleep like a baby. Just pass out. Really? Mm-hmm. And then a lot of things happen and it's like, you're not the same person when you wake up, bro. I am not the same person when I woke up at 7:30 or at 6, well, it was about 7. When I woke up at 7 as when I woke up at 3:30. I was not the same fucking person. I went to sleep for an hour or something. Shit happens, dude. I'll do all these crazy channeling. I'll have a meal and I'll just sit on the bed for a second and then I'll be out, dude. 2 hours, what the fuck? But then, you know what I mean, I'll have all this information, and I'll have all this, and I'll feel better, and I won't be, all these weird things will happen. That's what I said in the beginning. Dude, there's a lot of sleeping happening. The Pleiadians have assured me, however, that they simply will not bring in a chamber if it is inappropriate at the request of time. So that means they're not going to you're not going to get you're not going to get, what is that called? That false sleep, what are they called? I'm seeing two different words. Those people that just pass out. Anyways, so if nothing happens for you at the time, tune in and see if you really need a chamber session or not. Perhaps you need a different chamber from the one you asked for. I didn't ask for shit. Alright. I'm not going to teach you how to do this. I'm just going to tell you what happens in there. The PEMS synchronization chamber. The PEMS is an abbreviation for physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. We talked about that in the card a couple nights ago. It was the Himalayan path. And that's what I said. I started watching the movie of the Dalai Lama and passed the fuck out. Meaning I put myself in, you know what I mean? That's what they were talking about. So I put myself into the, that vibe, and then I was out. They are meant to work in balance and harmony with one another, even though each energy body has its own complete and individual function. We talked about that, the different functions, you know, the layers to your being. And that's where it is like, if you take your astral, it's not about astral traveling, really, mentally. If you allow your conscious to drift too far, you can end up on other planets. Like, oh, fuck, what am I looking at? Really? Oh, man, it's limitless. And that's where you need to learn how to navigate it and stay out of places. And that's where it is like, your mind can take you to dark places throughout the day. The pits of hell inside your mind where you, like, feel like everybody's out to get you and you're going to have a panic attack and nobody loves you and you got to die. School shooter type shit. It's just a mindset. They're not bad people. They go to a bad place in their mind. That's it. They can't get out of it. There's nobody there to talk them out of there. It's like a fucking hostage situation. Realistically, yeah, where do you think Britney Spears is mentally? Where do you think Kanye is mentally? Alright, so that's where their mind is. So where the rest of their body is not here. Their emotional body isn't here. If their mental body is that far away, their emotional body isn't here. And that means they're astral traveling through their thoughts. You're not physically here, bro. Lights on. I used to say that to Russ all the time. Is there a human in there? Like, I can see straight through your body. Like, I don't even see a being. Like, are you really? Like, are you real? Realistically, yeah, they're not here. And that's how you could look at me. You could see I'm not here. You could see when I'm not here, bro. I think you can. I don't know. Maybe. It's like dolphins. There's... Okay. Anyways, if, for example, your work demands that you're extremely mental or physical, you may need to round out your life with more emotional and spiritual activities and focus when you're not working. Many indigenous tribes around the world, including Native Americans, Australian Aboriginals, and Celtic tribes, or Celtic, have used ceremony circles and crosses with particular attention to the 4 directions to bring about the balance in the circles. I told you that last night. That's what I did under the full moon. I used the 4 elements. The east is commonly used to symbolize the element of fire, and that's where that candle was facing, which corresponds with your spiritual self. South holds the energy of the earth. Look at my picture last night. That was the earth candle, the brown one, which gives home to your physical body. West is the watery element and supports your emotional. North is the home of air. I didn't have it that way. I put my emotions on my north because that's what it is. For me to be in my north node, I have to be in my Cancer, which is all emotions. North is the home of air and your mental aspect. Since before recorded time, I'm teaching you something that is really interesting right now because, again, I told Wolfman, you don't need to go to these places to experience this. You can do these from your own place. It's all within you. You can learn the practices and you can perfect them or recreate them. You know what I mean? There's not one type of magic. The more you get into dealing with us witches, the real high-level ones, you'll see how we deal with all of it. And that's exactly where Aleister Crowley and all of them got it from. They traveled everywhere to get this. It wasn't... they took a little bit of everything and made the best stew. Really? Go check the cauldron. At a time for every purpose under heaven. Perhaps it's even more vital today to know how to bring in this balance again when you've lost it. All right, what are we talking about right here? As well as obvious environmental sources of problem, there are contaminants by radar, nuclear testing, chemical dumpings, spills, television, microwaves, computers, electrical light frequencies. Subliminal programming via radio and television has intensified greed, fear, distrust, addiction, and shame in our culture in proportions beyond anything known on Earth since the last fall of Atlantis. Yep, I told you. I said that. You guys are just like the Atlanteans, but you're not going to know how to swim down there. Most of you don't. You don't even know how to swim. I tell Allie that all the time. Allie, that's just pure laziness, bro. Learn how to swim. You're not going to drown. It's a fucking fear. You're going to drown if you don't learn. If you don't learn this, you will drown. All you need to do is learn it, and then you're safe. Quit being dumb. That's just pure laziness. You don't want to look stupid learning how to... Mr. Plum don't know how to swim, and he's scared of anything bigger than his bathtub. He don't know how to swim. They die all the time in Oklahoma because they don't know how to swim. That's just not learning. You just have to learn it. No, we don't live by it. No. Shut up. Learn. It's not something you can't do. Humans can swim. Really? Yes. You can go underwater for certain amounts of time, but you have to come back up. And you can just literally float on the top, too, after you get comfortable and stop panicking about the weight of your body. It weighs nothing. Realistically? Yeah. Walk on water type shit. Just pointing this out. Like, stupid stuff like this. It's like, you know what I mean? Your fear, your distrust. Oh, there you go, Marshall. You distrust the world because one girl got you? Shut up. What about your addictions? I got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. Then you're greed. I've got to have this. I've got to have this. I've got to have this. Then there's your shame. Oh, no, poor me. Oh, I'm such a bad person. Oh, nobody loves me. Oh. Whoa. Chemical ingredients in our food, clothing, shampoos, soaps, cleansers, detergents, perfumes, and hairsprays have all but destroyed our nervous system and mutated our brains. Teenage mutant ninja. You guys are like, you're not even teenage, bro. You're inner child mutant. Teenage mutant. No, you're inner child mutant turtles. I always say that all the time with your reptilian behaviors. Alright, the list could go on and on. PMS synchronization chamber opens the communication between our energy bodies and redistributes the energy, leaving present and in harmony with yourself and others. When's the last time you took a fucking nap? Don't you feel better when you do it? No, I'm tired. Well, then rest longer. Dork. Sometimes it's really hard to get yourself out of there. They do that to me all the time. I have to, like, literally plunge myself into the water. And then I'm just laying there in a fetal position looking at the fucking wall like, I'm gonna have to get out of here. I hope I have underwear. Really? I gotta be born. Isn't that pretty much how it is in the morning when you take a shower before work? I'm gonna have to get out of here and face the world. These wavy lines appear to break up condensed energy spots and move the energy elsewhere in my body or aura when it's needed. Portions of broken up energy may be released altogether. Sometimes I am temporarily drowsy as this is happening. Yeah, I'm like, I don't feel so good. Or feel the stretch or feel a need to stretch or yawn. Breathe deeply. I always feel the same sense of sacredness after this type of chamber session. Okay, that's one of them. Now let's go on to this one, the interdimensional chamber of life. This could also be called the soul infusion chamber. Although Pleiadians call it the interdimensional chamber of light, its function is to enhance and strengthen your feeling and awareness of your own soul's essence throughout your body. Do you know your soul? How did you become so heartless? Do you know your soul? Okay, this is that. The matrix consists of 2 prismatic chakras, so I shine out lights. Kind of like a Care Bear. Really? So I was talking about yesterday putting my spirit into some amulets. So what I would do is I would see my light, and this is this is practices, of course. I would see my light, and I would transfer it through my heart, which is the golden light, and I'd put that in there. And then I would push the red light out of my freaking sacral. Out of my root. And then I would push my orange. And then I'd push, and that's where it is I'm pushing my aura, my chakras. I do it on Sundays when I do certain cards. I load these cards with my aura. And I'm like, if you believe in it and you focus on this, I swear to God, my energy's in there. All you have to do is focus on it and you'll receive my energy. Because I've already projected it out. The light doesn't burn out. I just push it through different parts. So basically what I'm doing right now is the light is pushing it through all my chakras. Specifically what? Blue. My throat chakra. But at the same time, there's all of the other colors too, because I'm using my third eye, which is purple, and then my crown, which is indigo. So if there was a person that could read color auras, they would see me completely a whole rainbow, or just the pure light. But because the truth is I'm in the darkness, they might not see any of it. Because the absence of all color is the same as all colors combined. All colors make black, as well as all colors make white. So that's where I can turn my light off and just, you know what I mean, and nobody can see it. But mostly they can. They feel it. They're drawn to me. There's something about me. Any amount of self-doubt, judgment, lack of deservingness or blame, judgment, unlovingness towards others can dim the light of your soul. All you're doing is projecting at them. You're projecting your own darkness onto them. In other words, the more you value the sacredness of yourself, others, and existence, the more you likewise experience the expression of who you really are. Right? Other things that can block or dim your soul's light are dishonesty of any kind. We walk in truth, bro. Truth is light. Sex without love? Ooh. Hey, bro. That sucks for you. I totally made love to you. It was all love. That's the difference, is you guys are having sex without love. I gave him all that love, bro. I had every intention to give it to him. It's like, I'm going to give you my love. Let's see what you do with it. Now you can sit there and wonder why I'm over here fucking dying with it. How you doing over there? Sex without love, physical or emotional abuse, emotional repression, righteous justification for hate, anger, blame, being ungrounded, your spirit is not present in your body, and possession by entities. The list goes on and on. So if you have all of this going on inside of you, there's no room for light. You're filled with darkness. And that's why I teach you, especially come tomorrow or later tonight, the dark night of your soul. We clean out the darkness so your soul's light, your true light, can be seen. We take away your self-judgment, your self-doubt, your blame, your unlovingness towards others, right? We do all this little pieces at a time, real small pieces. We teach you not to be, to be truthful, to stand on your words, to stand on your business and not fear, you know what I mean? Their reactions. I've been teaching you the difference between sex and love, and that sex is a form of love, no matter what you're doing out there. And that's why you're getting in all these really fucked up relationships. I don't give a fuck, men. You'd think you're just fucking them, but that's an exchange of love. It's a closeness that you're lacking and you're having. And when that woman gives it to you, now you've got her energy all over you, and vice versa. And that's where comes these fucking, these fucking cords and shit. The cord, bro. It's just sex. Sex without love, physical or emotional abuse, emotional repression, and that's it. You're denying your feelings. You're made up of nothing but great feelings, but you're harboring the hard ones. Righteous justification, you know what I mean? We take off we tell you that it's not fair to hate and anger and blame and shame other people. I teach you all this through Christ consciousness. There's 4 elements to that, which is love, compassion, forgiveness, and understanding. It all starts with yourself. The more you work yourself, the more you have love, all of those things for yourself, the more you have it for other people. If you're not forgiving towards yourself, bro, you're not forgiving towards anyone else. If you're not understanding about your own feelings, you're not understanding about anyone else. If you're always fucking criticizing yourself and judging yourself, you're fucking always criticizing. If you're not love, then nobody else is loving you either. It all starts with you fill yourself up with this energy, and then it overflows, bro. But I teach you this, and it's one thought at a time, one hassle. Every week they come and they shine light on a different area of our life that we need to face, and that's what we do. The basic cure to any of these is love, acting from a place of integrity and goodwill, complete emotional honesty with yourself and your loved ones, and taking responsibility for being an active creator. It wasn't what he did, but in the sense of, and I tell the story very forgiving. He was 18. He was making unbelievable amounts of money. He had a happy home, a happy wife, happy children. But had he, and I always said this, if he would have just told me the truth, bro, I could have dealt with it differently. I know I would have. If he would have told me, and I knew it, I knew that bitch was all over his dick. If he would have been like, bro, I gave her the dick, and that bitch got pregnant, like my second husband did, we could have handled it different. And that's what happened. at my daughter, he was sleeping with this married chick and she's pregnant. Face your truth, bro. Just face the truth of what's really happening here. When you live this way, you begin to heal the past wounds inflicted by yourself and others, and your true essence can shine in your heart and body again. And whatever happened with Big Sean and his girl, they had to have that real talk. I met a guy last night. I talk to him all the time. I didn't meet him. He might be on my page, to be honest. He was telling me, the full moon and stuff, he goes on vacation today. And I was like, yeah, it's all in the energy, this and that. He was telling me that him and his, are separating. It's a little bit difficult, but because they had gotten a dog. But he's like, this is the first time I've ever, where we've ever parted and they didn't block me and, everything went bad. Like, it's actually, we're working this out quite lovely. I was like, that's growth, bro. And honestly, that's co-parenting. That kind of growth comes when you have something, you know what I mean, that means more between you. You know what I mean? So that's the dog. They're doing the right thing by the dog. In essence, you might see it as a dog that has created a family for them. And, back to Lewis or my dog, they're not dogs. Some people treat dogs like dogs. But for those of us that bring them into our home, they are family. They are a soul. It's a soul bond. That's part of our entire family. We don't forget about them when we walk out the door. We don't, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I hope they'll be okay. No, they're part of the family. My day goes around the dog all day. So I'm like, I walk her all day. I feed her all day. We have lunch together. I grab the Salvation Army's lunch and we usually eat lunch together. She doesn't have to go to the bathroom all day, but she gets bored in here. Then I take her outside and she gets bored outside. She's a bored-ass dog. This morning at 3 o'clock, I took her out with me. She was just hanging out, just listening to the wind, just watching it and shit, until she got a little cold, and I brought her back in. That's my companion. It's not just a fucking dog. That's a being that means a lot to me. And then there's people that, they just have their dog tied up outside and they don't give it any love. That's how some of you are in your fucking relationships, bro. That's your kids, shit. To assist you in healing and growing, the Pleiadians and the Christ have made available the interdimensional chamber of light. When you use this chamber, I'm aware of fine filaments of light shining like a laser into my soul matrix and illuminating it from the inside out. The light coming in is somewhat akin to sunlight that shines inwards. I don't feel like they're putting anything, unless it's my chakras, I feel like the explosion is inside. Always, pretty much. I'm going to move on. What's another one? Quantum Transfiguration Chamber. The primary purpose of the Quantum Transfiguration Chamber of Light is to break up cellular, emotional, mental patternings. This is where that's what I was talking about Christmas. Christmas is at a cellular level, bro. That's year after year after year after year. You feel it in your skin. It has an emotional attachment to it. It's not even real. It's a season. If I didn't live in America, I would still have this problem. Because it's programmed inside of my body. If I left America and I went to a place where they didn't experience Christmas, I would still have separation anxiety of this during that time. It's a programming inside of you. It's emotional and mental patterning, self-defeating behaviors, deep emotional traumas, ego or fear-based resistance, erroneous self-protection holding patterns, implosion, pain, and even chemical-caused damage can cause cellular damage and erratic cellular movement and contradictions. And that's people that, I'm seeing people that their knees are always, you know what I mean? That's from doing drugs too, or just trauma. There's so many of these behaviors that we have, you know what I mean? Trauma survivors have all kinds of weird mental, emotional, and cellular reactions, which are long-term that they call in the simplistic of PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder, which causes emotional and mental physical patterning, where they go into fight or flight. They have different, some people sweat, some people, they lose their appetite, some people get freaked out and throw up all the time. You know what I mean? When things, it's just, it's at a cellular level. Your body's trained to this. It's in these patterns. In a state of health and balance, your cells gently, and that's why I teach you, when I go through an ego death, I can get through my mind and my emotions of it pretty quickly, but it's in my body. Breaking it out of my being hurts. And that's where I told you I'll be laid out for 2 days. Healing my body takes longer than healing the mind. It lives inside of your DNA. This thought has been circulating through your blood since the beginning. Since your first fucking Christmas. And that could I'm using that as an example. That's one of the more positive ones. But there's certain things, your triggers. When this happens, bro, you go into a different state. When your breathing is shallow, whether from lack of exercise or from contradiction by emotional repression, the flow of oxygen, light, and light force slows down and becomes sluggish. Then contradiction or implosion occurs in your cells, and your physical, emotional, and mental bodies become rigid. That's when you're unbalanced. Something's wrong, and it's all based on your feelings, bro. This can result in tight muscles, body pain, lack of vitality, emotional imbalance. These are the definitions of depression and anxiety, or many illnesses that plague the human species. Spiritually, such rigidity is a great contributor to feeling stuck. It's like you want to do something, but you can't. Is it mental? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual, or is it physical? What are the elements are holding you back? You need to align them, and that's how manifestations come, where you're moving in your heart space. You're being guided by your soul, not your mental, which is, programming fears and desperations. You know what I mean? You're moving with your heart. All right, the quantum transfiguration chamber addresses these problems, whether they are manifested in subtle or undefined ways, or blatantly causes blockage, as soon as I seen blockage, I saw self-sabotaging behaviors, degeneration, and pain. In this chamber, the etherical infusion of billions of microscopic lasers of color light from several directions enter the cells, and in this sense, it confuses the cells, causing them to release whatever is out of affinity and resume the clockwise rotation. A month or two ago, I told you about using these lights, and I said that, I had heard on the radio that they're using green tinted glasses. They do all of that. Well, of course, it's the heart chakra. So then I went to the spiritual store, and they had all of these lens glasses, right? The color codes of the glasses, and that's channeling, same as I do with my anointing oils through my third, channeling through a specific ray. So that goes to people that are colorblind, right? They're not getting all of the access. So as I said that, look, this is what's happening. That's how energy is. I try to explain that to you. There's grids of it. I can sit there all day watching it. It's just traveling in front of me, all around me. Some of it's like almost bubbles. Some of it's on lines. Some of it's on airflows. And it's just like, where do you want to tap into the grid? And someone like me that's a grid worker, Jesus, dude. I'm in the 5th dimension, and all of a sudden I'm somewhere totally different. And that's where you can access, and that's the High Priestess. I see it all, bro. All time. Everything. And I can see how it moves on this planet. Really? Yeah. So they teach you that. Let's go on to another one. Integration acceleration chamber. And it looks like something like this. You're just laying there, and you're being blasted by lasers of light. Colored light. Another way to do this, and that's what I do all day, is through music. I need to go get some new headphones today. Music or frequencies. Frequencies align with color. It's all there, dude. So if I'm not sitting there, painting all these colors, I'm putting them into my brain. Those frequencies, those tones. Really? In vastly accelerated times, you may find yourself feeling overwhelmed or on overload. Occasionally, even frequently, the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical demands on you change your basic structure of who you are and think you are, and occurring so rapidly that it becomes peaceful eye within the storm, is more than a necessity. You may sometimes feel as though there's nothing tangible to hold on to, as if life is a roller coaster ride, an ongoing paradigm shift, and continual refinement process. That's what I said. I'm constantly being broken open and rebuilt. Constantly. There's nothing, that's what I said, there's nothing to hold on to. I'm constantly changing. They wrap me up, right? They wrap me up like a mummy, and put me in the, and put me back in the chamber, and then they pull me out and unwrap me and rewrap me. It's like they're taking off the programming and then wrapping me in new programming. Really? Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what it is. It's like, am I ever going to stop transforming? Do I become something? Or I'm just constantly evolving like the atom in constant motion? Really? Yeah. You may find yourself experiencing the healing of several lifetimes in a single day. You've seen me do it. You've seen me go through multiple lifetimes in a single day, resulting in you becoming a different you over and over again. And that's what people can't stand. And that's what Bobby said. It's like, the one thing I know about you is your feelings are always changing. I'm made to do so. I'm constantly evolving into my highest version by meeting my lower versions. Hello. Sometimes the spiritual and etherical change occurs so rapidly that your body, mind, and emotions cannot keep up. And that's where I was like, I don't even know what's up, bro. I'm like so lost right now. Like, what's going on in your life? I don't know. God hasn't showed me. I'm like in a total bubble, bro. I don't even know what God. And that's where I tell you all the time, God's got to create a new bubble. I was on a timeline, but thank God I jumped off it. It's like, why don't you just stay on a timeline? Like you? Like you that's going nowhere? I jump timelines all the time. At other times, the changes are so fundamental to your self-identity that you feel a sense of disorientation and general fuzziness. You may experience tiredness, weariness, and you feel extremely hyper or overamped. You may feel like running away with nowhere to run, or you may collapse and not feel like you're able to move. I'm going to stop there because I do that all the time. It happened again this weekend. I get into a place mentally, I get into such an accelerated state of being that I feel like I'm completely away from everyone and I can't find my way back and I'm so different. And that's what I said, in a couple days I'll come back down, but it happens all the time. It's like I've shed every bit of my being. I'm like nobody else again.